about his sense of national connection to his nation when he goes out to sea. And we see that this period of time, which is a time for the Jewish people called Hester Panim, that God's face is hidden in the entire beginning of the Sefer. We noticed only at the end of Perek Bet do members of Israel finally cry out to God. But until then, there's no connection, as if God is hidden. His appearance is hidden, and the Jewish people are disconnected to God, a state of Hester Panim. At the end of the Perek, when finally we learned the end of yesterday's Shiur, Hirsch, finally people are crying out to a new address, and that is to God. Until then, they were so disconnected. And we see, therefore, at the end of the last Perek, a turning point. A turning point. We can call that turning point from Shi'abud, from being subjected into slavery, to Geula, to redemption. No, we're not redeemed yet. But there's going to be an address. People are calling out to God. And therefore, do you remember how we ended yesterday's Perek? How many times is God's name revealed in 2 psukim? 4 times. Very good. Amos, together with 4 separate verbs. It's right now the curtains are opening. The curtains are opening. Israel's being remembered. Bnei Yisrael's being remembered. God is about to be revealed. He's seeing everything. And finally, we saw at the end of the last chapter a word of intimacy. Vayeda Elokim. And God knows. This is a brief summary of the end of yesterday's shiur. God knows, meaning, is a yediyah pnimit, an inner understanding of what's happening. But as we said yesterday, it's a function of waking up. Bnei Yisrael are waking up. This brings us to Perek Gimel. In many of your chumashim, is it a pei or a samech? What do you have here? Samech. I have a samech. It's satum. We only have an indentation of some 7 to 9 letters. And therefore, the new Perek begins with the letter Vav. And we learned yesterday or 2 days ago the Vav HaChibur, the connecting Vav. Moshe. Okay? Disregard this in English, and your English teacher, if you would, God forbid, begin an essay with the word and, red pen, scribble it out and say that's not proper, but God decides the grammar here. Moshe. And Moshe, Haya Ro'eh. Etzon Yitro Chotno, Kohen Midyan, Vayinhag et Atzon Achar HaMidbar, Vayavo El Har HaElohim, Choreva. Before we get to the appearance, we're learning about Moshe. Do you remember? Moshe apparently left Mitzrayim when there was an APB to catch him after killing the Egyptian, after Moshe Rabbeinu showing us 3 different cases where he's saving the one that's being pursued, saving the one that's being persecuted, saving the ones that are being oppressed. He left and he finds himself in Midyan. Well, we don't have to say that he left directly and went to Midyan, because he probably left at the age of 12 or 13. It says Vayigdal Moshe. He's an older person already. He's an adult. Whereas he shows up here, and we read ahead, we know that he is 80 years old. So we suggested yesterday, and there were midrashim to talk about it. He could have gone down south, maybe somewhere to Africa, who knows? And he became king. He was a leader. Is that suitable to his personality? I mean, he grew up as a prince. He grew up in Bat Paro's house. And now, excuse me, you're an occupational director for different jobs, employment. Let's just pick on you today, David. You, Moshe, growing up in Paro's house as a prince, and according to the Midrash, probably a king elsewhere in some other countries. And now you're married to Tzipor, and you take a job as a what? A shepherd? It doesn't pay a lot of money. You know that you're not gonna have glory or fame being a shepherd. So we're asking ourselves, what kind of person would accept a job like this? Huh?